So I'm sitting here watching this documentary on AlphaFold,
Now, what?
and when I happened to pause it, it was 6:27. I just unpaused it, right? And I wasn't attempting to pause it at this time. And I was thinking, like, I spent a lot of time talking about the possibility of awakening, and now we can talk about it on a different level with artificial intelligence, large language models, the internet, things of that nature. And really, what they're attempting to do is mimic the human brain. And now we have the tools and the language because people have been talking about connecting the actual brain network because we are connected in ways that we can't see. And there's a lot of potential there to network these minds to help solve some of the problems in humanity. Whereas science, and I consider myself a scientist, I've studied the brain. We all have a brain that we can study. We all have a natural intelligence, BRAIN. And that actual intelligence is what they're trying to artificially create. And we all can be scientists and study our own brain because our brain is very impressive and very complex. It is able to create artificial brains, but we still haven't grasped the power of our own brains. And I feel from a humanities standpoint, having that grasp is going to affect what we create because it's going to be baked into the recipe. Right now, we're baking in bias, we're baking in the things that separate us into the things that we're creating. And if you see the trajectory of where that goes, it's going to be the things we're creating are going to exacerbate the problems of humanity versus help solve them. And I know some of these people are thinking that they're helping solving problems, and they are. Hearing about AlphaFold, that has a good potential, right? But with anything, with any tool, it has the potential to be used for good and for bad, right? And that use has to do with the user. I can have a knife and I can use it to help or to hurt. It depends on the consciousness and the intent of the user. These tools that you're holding in your hand, just like he's holding this in his hand, can be used for good and bad depending on the brain or the intent of the individual using it. And it feels like a losing battle, just being honest, because there is more effort and money put into technology to keep us distracted and looking down, not necessarily to awaken us and connect us in the real matrix, in the real world that we live in, so that we solve some of the basic human problems. They're attempting to create something that's more intelligent than us that will solve those problems for us. So whether they believe in religions or not is irrelevant, but they're trying to create a digital savior, not realizing that we are the ones that have to solve these problems, not an artificial intelligence. And we'll see what happens in the future. If you look at the imagination of humanity with artificial intelligence, it doesn't turn out well. And I imagine a lot of people that will be dealing with the repercussions of what we create. If it turns out negative, we'll say, oh, well, I saw that in a movie. And it would be like, that's our imagination attempting to warn us about things. But that imagination also didn't give us solutions. There's not many people talking about solutions. And I want it to be part of the solution and just not part of the problem. And it's a hard problem. And sometimes I feel like I'm not making progress at all, to be honest. And it seems like it's just a huge hill to climb. And it's not as supported as these other ventures. There's more energy behind stuff that keeps us divided than things that unite us. And it's worthwhile, just like the effort that they put in is worthwhile. But you also have to look at there's going to be ups and downs to anything. But I don't want you to feel because you're at the cutting edge of human consciousness, of activating your own brain, that it is not a worthwhile activity. And maybe there is a hundredth monkey kind of deal where our network consciousness can somehow affect other nodes in the network, other minds, and that can be a benefit. We'll see. No telling what the future will bring, but it just happened to pause here to share those thoughts. So, peace, y'all.